everyone, this is Walter. I'm the creator of Hand and Foot Friends and Family Edition, and this is our second training video on how to play Hand and Foot Canasta. In our last video, we learned some of the basic rules, some strategies that we can use while getting our feet, ways to maximize our score. All that was done with the round of 50, and as you know, there are 4 rounds in Hand and Foot Canasta, so we're going to be playing our second round now, our round of 90. So to get back into your game, just when you're at the home screen, you just click over here on the right hand side. Brings you back to your between round game score screen. And so you can see we did very well against the computer player. We won by over 2,500 points. Now we're ready to start the round of 90. So we'll click the blue button. Okay, and it looks like it's our turn to go first. So we'll start with drawing 2 cards. Now remember, one of the things that we talked about last time was not making your initial meld until you can get all of your cards melded onto the board and get into your foot as part of one play, or picking up the pile if your opponent discards a card and you have 2 naturals. So we're going to follow that same method here. We've got a pretty good hand here. We've got 4s and 5s already that we could start a meld with. We've got a number of wild cards, 4 wild cards here. And let's see, but what we don't, so we want to get rid of our singletons here. So I'll go ahead and get rid of this 10. And Seymour's going to start a new set of melds, and he's going to meet his initial meld right away, but we're not going to follow that strategy. So we'll draw 2 cards. He didn't give us anything that we could pick up. So we got a queen and a 7. Not great for us because those are more singletons. So remember, our discard strategy is if we have a red 3 or a black 3, we try to discard those first. Those are very easy decisions. After that, we can discard something maybe that we saw the computer player discard. That was a red 3. We don't have that. So then we can go to something that the computer player just played, or your opponent just played. So they just played aces and 8s. We wouldn't want to do 8s because we don't want to break up our 2 here. So aces would be a good bet. Most likely he's not going to have more aces in his hand just because he just melded. There, let's see if that's, yep, and that's a safe discard. So it looks like he's not going to meld. He gave us another 3 here. So we'll draw. We got a joker, wild card, and another queen. Okay, that's good. That gives us 2 of those. So now we don't have any aces. Now we could decide to break up the 8s if we're especially worried about him picking up. Let's go ahead and do that. It breaks up our hand, but you know, it's not like we had 3 or 4 of those 8s, so it gives us, think about it as it gives you 2 good discards potentially. Okay, so we got jacks and 10s. We didn't get any 3s, so let's go ahead and discard this other 8. Hopefully he doesn't have 2 in his hand. Good, we got past him again. He's discarding a 7. Let's pay attention to that 7 there because we have a 7 here. We might be able to discard that next time. A 6 and a 10. So let's go ahead and discard that 7 because we saw him do it. Of course, this could be a trap. He could be doing that intentionally to bait us like we saw that we did to the computer last time, but it's early in the game, so I don't think he's gonna do that. Let's see. Nope, we got past him again. That's good. So what we're trying to do here is avoid the computer player to pick up. It looks like his strategy here is he hasn't been melding, so maybe he's trying to build up his hand so he can pick up the deck. So we want to try to avoid giving him the ability to pick up the pile because that's just going to give him more cards that he can use to meld and create more canastas with. So we got a 9 and a 7. So, well, we can try the 7 again, see if we get lucky. Yep, all right, we passed him, that's good. Aha, and now look, he finally gave us a card that we can pick up. So let's just make sure that we can meet our meld. Now, the difference here from the round of 50 is in the round of 50, we only had to have 50 points initially for our meld. Here we have to have 90 points. So we can't do it all by naturals because we're only going to get 15 points for our 5s, 15 for it, that's 30 points, 15 here for our 4s, that's 45 points. We'll get the 5 here. We're still only at 50. So we're going to have to use a wild card. It's best to use a joker if you can because that's worth 50 points, and then we can use that with our queens or 10s. So let's press the pick up button to pick up the pile. And let's play our 4s. Let's play our 6s. Play another 5 there. But we still have 40 points to go. So let's go ahead and use a wild card and use the joker. And now we're good. And look at this. All those 7s we had discarded, we can go ahead and meld those if we want, or we can hold those back as good wild cards, or sorry, as good discards. So for now, let's see if we can get away with this 8. You know, at this point, the computer player has drawn quite a few cards since they picked up that 8. So it could be a little risky. Let's go ahead and try it and see if we get lucky. Okay, great. We missed him, so that's good. But he's doing a good job drawing these 3s there. So we got 10s. Now again, we could melt those 10s, but let's try to wait until we can get the rest of our foot all in one time, or we can pick up more cards. And you know, right now our opponent isn't getting their foot, so there's no real compelling reason for us to get our foot right away. So let's see, we need to discard, and let's go ahead and try that 8 again, see if we get lucky. See, we didn't, unlucky that time. So in the meantime, since they melded, the computer had gotten 2 naturals and burned us there, so they ended up picking up the pile. So so you just have to be careful there. Maybe we could have gone with the 7s, but nevertheless, it's our turn to draw. So we have a 6 here. We can hold on to that for now. We could try the aces here and see if he had gotten aces. Looks like he did. So that's good. He couldn't pick that up. Getting nice groups of 10s. Now it's unlikely he's going to have 2 more of these 8s in his hand. The one thing just to be aware of here is if we do put this 8 out there and then put something else that he could pick up, he'll get that 8 next time. But oh, look at that. Whoa, he definitely tricked me. He had held back even 2 additional 8s to get that. So that was pretty good sandbagging behavior there by the computer. So, okay. Let's see here. We're getting pretty close to being able to get our foot here. So let's see. Let's just walk through this. We could put the kings down with a wild card. We could put our 10s down. We could put our 7s down. We could put the 6 and the 5s. But we wouldn't be able to play the 9 or the jack. So let's try to prune our hand here, and recognizing that in doing so, we might giving the computer a chance to pick up, but we gotta get our foot. And so let's get rid of stuff we don't need. And look, he did get us. Now, if you notice, there weren't that many cards in there. There were only 3 cards in there. So it's not like he got, you know, all the full 6 cards that he could have gotten. But it does look like, you know, he's got a number of cards there that we've given him. Now it looks like we can get our foot all at once here. So we'll use our jack as our discard. So let's play our 3 kings. Play our 10s. Play our 7s. Play our 6s and our 5s. Now look, we've got a lot of wild cards that we have to figure out what to do with. And we don't want to kill or put wild cards in all these naturals to mess them up, because we still need our at least 1 natural. And it's always great to get as more naturals as possible, because you get 500 points for them versus just 300 for the unnaturals. So what I would recommend doing is taking 3 of them and put them on one, and then take 2 of them and put them on another. So I'm going to take I'm going to just pick my 10s here, somewhat at random. I could have done it on the 6s as well. But I take a card or a meld that has 4 naturals, which allows me to use 3 wild cards. That's what those open circles mean. It means it's a space that's eligible for a wild card. So now I only have 2, and I can put those, I could put them on the kings, the 7s or the 4s. I'm just going to put them on the kings here. And then now we can discard our jack and get into our foot. Oh, the computer picked up that jack there. And now it looks like it's going to go to town here. And it's probably going to get a pretty good meld because it was able to pick up a number of cards. So we'll probably, let's just see where he ends up. No, couldn't get his foot still. So this is an opportunity for us. Let's see what we get here. So now our goal, so he's ahead of us already. He's got his natural. Let's see if we can get a natural here easily. We certainly can. Let's grab that 5 and make that a natural. We can get 2 4s. He's unlikely to give us a 4 because he's already got 4s down, so we can go ahead and comfortably play those. There's no 6s. 7, we could hold on to that if we wanted to try to pick up. Yeah, so at this point we want to make a decision. Do we want to try to stay in longer and make some more points? Or do we want to try to get out as quickly as possible? At this point, there's no way we could get out on this turn. So there's no advantage to playing all of our melds that we could play. Although, well, actually with these jacks, we can play those because the computer's not going to discard those. But he'll just meld those. So let's see if there's anything else that we could play. Probably not going to give us any queens. We could play those. Could give us a 7. We can hold on to that for now. And remember, let's get rid of the red 3. We always want to get rid of the red 3 because that's worth 500 points if we keep it in our hand and the other player goes out on us. So we always want to get rid of those quickly. So we drew a 4 and a 5. So we can bury these 5s here or use them as discard. Burying cards means adding them to an existing natural meld. In these current rules, you can only bury natural cards. You can't bury wild cards in a made canasta. But we can hold on to those. We might need those for discards later. We can go ahead and add this 4 here, get us closer. Because at this point, we can make extra canastas. And let's get rid of this 3 because that's an easy decision. And I'm not too rushed about going out right now because our opponent still doesn't have their foot. So this could be an opportunity for us to make some more points. Let's put this king down here. Get us one step closer there. We could put our 7 down. We'll keep those 9s. Let's hold on to those. Maybe let's get rid of this ace because that's a singleton. Aces are always good to meld if you can because they're 20 points, but we don't have anything to go with it, and it's unlikely he would be able to pick it up. So he's down to just 1 card. He's getting pretty close to his foot here. Okay, let's play this queen. We got a 10 of queens, play that. Now let's take a look here because at this point we could actually go out if we wanted to, I believe. So we could play our 2 10s here. We could play our 9s with the wild card here. We could put our 5s here and then discard the 8 and go out. So what's the advantage? We're only up by 300 points, but we would prevent the computer player from getting any more points, and further, we would prevent the, there might be a red 3 or something in the computer player's hand, and that would get counted against him. Now, on the flip side of that, we've got, if we went out now, we couldn't make any of these extra canastas, and we've got 3 of them that have 6 on them. So I'm inclined to roll the dice, maybe a couple more turns maybe, and see if we can close some of these canastas to get some extra points. We're definitely taking a risk here, so it's a judgment call. Some people might argue, hey, if you can go out, go out as soon as possible. Let's just, for the sake of argument, let's just try to stay in for a little bit and see what happens here. So I'm going to throw away this 8 because he can't pick it up for certain. We couldn't pick it up anyways because it's only 1. But I can't play it. I don't have an 8, anything to go with it. So let's just get rid of that. It'll make it easier for us to go out later. It would be great if he can't go out, which he didn't. And let's see if we can get a king, queen, or a 4, or maybe another wild card. Look at that. We got a 4. So that gives us an extra natural. So now it's kind of like, well, how greedy do we want to be on this? And do we want to stay in for one more to try to get another canasta, or do we want to go out? And I'm just going to say now, let's just go out and say, hey, we got that extra canasta. But this is kind of a judgment call. You could go either way on this. So we know we have to play these 9s. All right. Let's discard a card that's going to have a lowest point value. So meaning let's meld these 10s. That will give us the most points. We can play that 6. We can bury the 5 and do that. And we go out. Let's see. And look at that. They have a minus count, which is great, which probably means that he had at least 1, maybe 2 red 3s or some high point value cards. And so even though we didn't get an extra canasta, we prevented the computer player from getting any extra canastas, and plus we were able to get them into negative for the count. So that was pretty successful. So we'll stop the video here. That was a successful round of 90, and hopefully you can join us for our next video when we play the round of 120.